Good evening, everyone. I'm so disappointed that we couldn't be together in person today, but I'm grateful for the opportunity to join you virtually to offer some brief remarks. Thank you to each and every one of you for supporting the National Women's Political Caucus and their endorsed candidates. This month, we are commemorating the 100th anniversary of the ratification of the 19th Amendment. This amendment was the result of determined activism by women from across our country. But the equality promised by the 19th Amendment was profoundly incomplete, applying only to white women. For Black women, the struggle for the ballot didn't end in 1920. While this year marks the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment, it has been only 55 years since the passage of the Voting Rights Act, which outlawed many of the racist poll taxes, literacy tests, and other policies which denied people of color the right to vote. And now, a half a century later, key tenets of the Voting Rights Act have been stripped away, and we are engaged in a daily struggle to prevent systemic voter suppression, intimidation, disinformation, and the disenfranchisement of millions of Black and Brown Americans. The struggle for full and equal voting rights is part and parcel of the struggle to rectify the legacy of systemic racism and institutional oppression that has created deeply entrenched disparities and inequities in our communities. Now, more than ever, it's vital that we elect leaders who reflect the lived experiences of the people they serve, who will legislate our values, and who will fight for economic, healthcare, education, housing, transit, and environmental justice. But look, so long as systemic barriers create inequitable access to the ballot box, full and fair representation will continue to remain out of reach. We must honor the legacy of the trailblazing Black women who stood up and reached for the ballot by continuing to defend the rights they fought so hard for. Congress must pass H.R. 1 to expand access to the ballot box and H.R. 4, after renaming it for John Lewis, to restore the full strength of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. And we must stand up in the face of ongoing efforts to enact racist, discriminatory policies which stand to disenfranchise entire communities. And so it is incumbent on all of us to build a more inclusive movement, a more representative movement, a united movement. And as we celebrate the National Women's Political Caucus today and the many endorsed candidates, we know there's work to be done, but thankfully, we're in this fight together.